The Martians.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Just the Tea with Ttarra. On this week's episode, we're talking about why sometimes he doesn't get had and why sometimes she doesn't get wet. Now, a man's cock doesn't have a mind of its own. Yeah, it almost always goes with what is happening at a particular time. And I'm going to be telling you why, whether with what is happening, he's still not getting had. This is a secret, tell nobody. Okay. So imagine as a girl, you have a boyfriend who on a normal day you touch and he definitely would get had, and on this day he's not getting had. Just think that maybe, just maybe that day he had watched way too many porn. Yeah. And then he got had and satisfied, or maybe he had way too much sex. And then when it was time for your turn, he had reached refractory period. Yeah, he couldn't go anymore. So that could be the reason number one why he isn't getting had. Reason number two, or let's say tip number two, it could be because you have a bad body odor or breath. Yeah, bad mouth, smell, or body odor. And like I said, the penis doesn't have a mind of its own. It works with what's happening, and when a place is smelling, when someone is thinking, you're irritated, I'm not going to be happy. So definitely the dick is not going to be happy and standing up and say, yay, I'm about to jump into her. Tip number three, it could be because you were talking way too much. Some guys do not like it, okay? They just want to, enjoy the quietness of the moment. But if you're talking way too much and maybe even saying things that do not even, that are not fitting to the scenario, it just makes him go, flaccid again. Right. Now the same thing applies to a lady if you're wondering, yeah. If you have a bad body or mouth odor, she definitely won't get wet. Because I cannot kiss a guy who has bad breath. No, I'm sorry, I can't. And so definitely I'm not going to get aroused and eventually wet. Okay? So it applies for a lady. And another thing for a lady, tip number two, tell you what, if you're not touching her in the right places, she ain't gonna get wet. And so you're going to have to use lubricant, and that's a whole lot of work. So you want to touch her in the right places to eventually get her wet, kiss her, and say those nice things to her that she would love to hear. And definitely that will happen. Another tip, tip number three, when she's not in the mood. There's no coming out of that. If she's not in the mood, she's not in the mood. And yes, it applies to a guy as well. If he's not in the mood, it's not going to stand. He's not going to have a hat on, because he's thinking about maybe money, he's thinking about some other things, and he's distracted. He's not living in that moment of that sexual, feeling and awareness and all of that. He's far away. It's not going to stand. What other tip can I leave you with now? Okay, the last one, and if you have any you want to share, make sure you do that in the comment section, alright? The last one for both of them will be that they are scared. If you're scared, for the guy, he could be thinking, if I have sex with this girl now, she might have a baby. And then, he plays in his mind, and of course, he controls his penis, and it doesn't stand because it's respecting the fact that if it stands and he eventually gets in there, a baby's going to come out of the place. Whether or not, of course, that's when you're not using protection. Okay? But hey, at the end of the day, just know how well and where to touch your partner to get him had, or to get her wet. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Until next week, you take care of yourself and